Hi, welcome to episode 7 of ReZero. We actually already watched this episode, but we wanted to point out a number of really baffling plot holes that we had seen throughout the episode. And if they're not plot holes, tell us in the comments below. I don't care. I do care. Antonio and I love all of you, but the first one is this scene right now in the mansion reveals something strange about Beatrice, who is this blonde character here, that she's kind of obsessed with this book, right? And you were the one who was saying that it didn't make sense, right, Antonio? Because you were the one who concluded that she was the one who let Elsa, who is the assassin, into the mansion, right?
Yeah, I think she did.
Yeah, and that made no sense to me because she let Subaru into the library just now. But Elsa is here to assassinate Subaru.
Now, I think in this conversation they do reveal that because like Beatrice isn't even trying to stop her, and she can do something. She has
Yeah,
powers, so she just let Elsa do it. But also she's just saving Subaru right
yeah.
now, and like deliberately, she's not giving any explanation for her actions. She's just saying, oh, it's the book says, oh, other shit, oh, how I
So
feel.
and by the way, it gets even more confusing later because like she then lets Elsa
Look at
into the
this. Look at this.
library. So
She's desperately trying to not let him kill
yeah,
himself.
so there's like levels of contradiction where it's like she lets Elsa into the manor to kill Subaru, but then she saves Subaru, but then she lets Elsa kill Subaru later by letting her into the library. So that really didn't make any sense to
I
us,
think that's
like
what's
at
happening.
all. And then it's just like there's the book, and apparently like all of she's really dependent on the book for some reason, like at least in some emotional
She's
sense,
holding the
right?
book. She's hugging the book. Yes.
Um, but the writers of the anime didn't clarify to us what her specific relationship is to the book, and it doesn't
Didn't even express it.
it doesn't help elucidate the mystery of why did she do anything that she does in this episode in the first place. So she really likes the book. Yeah. And weren't you saying something about like doesn't this put all of her previous appearances in the show in total confusion, Antonio?
Well, the thing is that this is a major reveal of
Of
her
her
loyalty.
character.
So it's like one of the things is that we thought we knew, but the author's trying to make us like take that rug from under our feet,
Yeah. Yeah.
figuratively. So it's like we don't know who Beatrice really
Yeah.
is. And the thing is, why would he do that? Like, I mean, like, what's the
Well,
point?
it could be interesting and there could be a point to it. It's just that it just doesn't make any sense in this scene because it doesn't like it's just like she really likes this
Everything
book
I've
for
done,
some
everything
reason.
I've said, all of it's written in the book.
But then it's just like, well, how does that throw context into her character?
And if you could, what?
And yeah, and it's like all it does is just raise questions, but all the questions go
So
unanswered.
she's doing things for some mother
Yeah.
or whatever. So she's being
Don't turn your
condescending to
back on
him.
Mother Earth. Yeah, I don't quite understand. So it's just like, yeah, she
So she says she doesn't even know you. She hates you. And so why is she trying to say that
yeah,
she hates you?
it's very confusing. Like what Beatrice does is what she does out of her own like
So
personality and what she does out of her book. So
supposedly,
that's the really confusing part, and it's just a mystery box, right? It's just a mystery box, and you just have to accept that it's a mystery.
so it's just like Beatrice is like letting all of this happen,
So don't worry
and
about her
then
breast size.
Elsa just gonna
Don't
let her.
worry, don't worry about how impractical her wardrobe is. Don't worry about it. And then she just let her into the library. Which, for some reason, I guess the book told her to. I guess the book told her to say, was she surprised? Was she surprised? I don't know anymore. Alright, that's not the only thing we're here to talk about. The next thing is, the question is on the witch's scent. And, I had like a full meltdown. I'll describe it because I'm the one who had like a full meltdown after watching this episode the first time. But Antonio, you were describing to me that every time Subaru dies, he smells and comes back to life, he smells more and more like the witches, right?
Yeah.
And you were saying that Rem actually killed Subaru before because Subaru smelled a lot like the witches.
Yes.
So the question I had was, and then later on this episode, we revealed that Garfield does not like the witch's scent either. But my question was, how did they know how the witches smell like in the first place? That was the question I had, where it's just like, how do you know what a witch smells like, and then who told you that that is what a witch smells like? Like, you need to, like, it's like...
You either need to have first-hand experience, or you need to have some sort of reference. And since they're living in such a era that doesn't even have electricity, I don't expect
you don't have
them
the
to have
internet, for sure. So that's really... So, like, you know what the smell of rice is because you smelled it once, and then someone said that's what rice smells like, right? Or like pizza or pasta or anything, right? But like in this case, it's just like, how do these characters know what a witch smells like? And then there was like the really weird question. It's just like, okay, well, Subaru smells like a witch. How do you know that? Like, why is it bad for him to smell like a witch, right? Like that was really confusing to me. Because it's just like, what is the witch's scent, right? Is it like aura or something, or is it like an actual scent, right? Because you know that if you rub against something, you kind of get that scent, like flowers. So
there's no way that like Rem or Garfield, they're not old enough to actually they haven't fought one of the witches before. And so they have no way of knowing that. Effectively, when I first heard this in like the second arc of the series, I kind of just accepted it because it was essentially a tool
for the plot,
or it was a plot, but it was a means to essentially develop Rem's character to get her going, to get her to overcome her distrust of Subaru. And the thing is, that's what that really served to do. Now it's just causing all these problems. How does Garfield know Subaru smells like a witch? And like the string of events that he does for precautions, like he just tie. Wait, what does he do? I see these notes. So
it's just the most ridiculous thing.
So the thing is that in order to what he doesn't want Subaru. What he suspects Subaru was in cahoots with something, but now he's like he ties him up, and I'm thinking, is that all you're gonna do?
Wait. So let's save that for later. But let's.
Well, I mean,
let's now. I want to talk about the next topic. While Garfield is walking around, is taking Subaru to this shady place. I want you to talk about the mixed race barrier, and how that kind of... There's the perfect timing. Now that you mentioned it, I want you to mention the mixed race barrier.
So the mixed race, as far as I thought of it, was just it's like it's just magic that senses whether or not your ancestry, by means of looking at your DNA, whether or not you are, you have more than you're not a human.
We've talked about how ridiculous 100%. This is before.
Yeah. So the thing is, that's fine, because mixed blood can be a thing, and a fine magical thing. But then we come to this situation where someone who has a quarter of
Who
different
turns out to be
lineage,
Frederica.
yeah, and she does. It's like if you have a quarter of non-homogeneous lineage, the barrier doesn't affect
Yeah.
you. So the elements that this writer decided to introduce was that we now have uh, actual empirical um, actual empirical deduction, and that's a problem because this is a magic system. Why are you doing this? I suspect that he did this because he couldn't figure out another way
Well,
to do it. But here's the problem.
yeah.
Here's the problem. How does the fucking magic know that you're 75%
Yeah.
of
Well,
something? So let
we
me ask
thought
you a
that.
question. Let's say you're 50. Let's say you're
Yeah.
56% human, 46%
Well, let me put it this way
non-human.
first, though. Like, we've had this discussion before, even before episode 7, where we said, like, what does it even mean to be half blood of anything, right? Because, like, every race in the world is like some conglomeration of something, right? Like, no one is pure. What does it even mean to be Japanese? The Japanese were originally 3 tribes, or like 3 ancient tribes, right, before they were unified, right? So it's just like, what the fuck does that even mean? But beyond that, you're talking about how there's this bizarre mathematics to the blood. But what question were you gonna ask me? I'm sorry.
Well, how does the barrier know that you're 50% one thing and 50%
It's
the other thing?
precisely 50%.
What if you're 50% human, 25% elf, 25% something
Apparently
else?
that's fine because Frederica passed through it.
So what? Yeah. So what if you're 56%
Yeah.
human, 44% beast? That's not even. It's not
Does the
perfectly even.
barrier just give up and say, fuck it, you just go?
So the thing is our suspension of disbelief is completely and utterly
Yeah.
trampled by this like
Yeah.
fact. And it's like maybe you could say we're being picky, but it's
It's a
like
little ridiculous because it's
no.
just like, what if you're like 75% human versus like 25% human? Like, which side, like, which percentage, like, kind of wins, right? Is there like a specific factor, like a specific race that it's looking for, elf versus human? But apparently not, because Garfield is half beast and half human. Maybe human is the component part of it, right? But and Amelia is half elf and half human, so it's not discriminating between races as far as we can tell. So it's so confusing. And it's kind of like, how do you make magic like that? You know, like, how do you make magic and then say only 50% only mix?
Justin,
Yeah,
I have a question for you. If you're 25%
yeah.
non-human, are you mixed blood?
Apparently, I guess so.
So you would say that.
See, I don't.
Apparently, the magic
The
barrier
magic
doesn't
barrier
agree.
does not think that. It's kind of weird because it's just like, you would think that as the magician, you would establish that rule and you would say, this is how it works. It's gonna work this way, unless they like intentionally.
Hang on. If we're getting to the mechanics of spells, you know you fucked up.
Because you're not supposed to be thinking about that.
We don't
Yeah,
care about that. We
it's
just
like
care about the
Spirited
story.
Away, where it's just like her parents are now pigs.
I mean, I'm not
I
playing a
know.
video game. And I'm not trying to solve a problem, like an engineering problem. I'm just trying to watch a fucking show.
This is like the spell Demi from Final Fantasy X, where it's like it always takes 10% of
It's
your.
like I'm not trying to figure out how a computer works. I'm trying to figure out why should I give a
Oh, okay,
shit.
now we're getting to another confusing. There's a lot of confusing parts about this episode, but and rewatching it again
Yeah.
hasn't really answered any of our questions so far. Okay,
Actually,
you wanna talk about Subaru being tied up? So well, let me because I brought the witch's scent thing up, right? And so I said, all right, so Subaru smells like the witch's scent, and then you said, well, maybe the cultists smell like witches too, you know? So then that's how people know what the witch's scent smells like. And so to me, it's just like, all right, so Garfield is just like, I'm going to do this thing to you because you smell like a witch and I don't trust you, right? But the thing is that, like, I imagine witches and cultists are quite powerful, right? So if somehow Subaru is associated with either being a witch or a cultist or it's just some paranormal thing in general, why would tying Subaru up? Why would you just stop at tying Subaru up, right? I was wondering about that, and because it's like because in the first episode you see the witches, and they're doing these crazy superhuman action moves where they're moving super fast and they have super strength, I think. And one of them like shoots like a giant fireball that destroys an entire caravan, right? And so Garfield is just like, he smells like a witch. I'm just gonna tie him up and leave him in this tomb.
So how would Garfield know what a witch smells like? He would have to have fought one, or maybe fought the cult. And if he fought the cult, he knows they are way stronger than him.
Yeah.
So if he suspects Subaru is a cultist or something like that, the precautions you must take to apprehend him must be much more severe than fucking hog tying him up.
Rope. Just rope. Well, do you need to like be able to say stuff to do spells or anything, or use like hand gestures or something?
No, it's whatever the
writer says.
wants.
Okay.
So here's another problem.
Yeah.
Why are they doing this? They must be the dumbest people. These are the dumbest people around. Think about this. Why would you kidnap someone? Like, very stupidly. First and foremost, you don't know what the power Subaru has. If he smells like the witch, you cannot. If you think the witch is like really powerful and they're monsters, you cannot reliably predict what he's going to do. If you try to apprehend him,
or
if he smells like a witch, you have to be careful.
Like buddies, right? Like if he has friends, and his friends are just like,
which he does.
There's not like witch friends, where it's just like my witch friends are going to be suspicious. Yeah.
Ilya? So Roswell is supposed to be the smartest person here.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, he could foresee everything that Subaru was going to do somehow, but somehow he couldn't foresee this.
Oh, this is my favorite moment in the whole
Foresight
anime. This is my favorite moment in the whole anime. This could be really short though. Oh my god, the gem. Okay, so this is like maybe the second. This is the meltdown I had while watching it. I had another meltdown after watching the episode, right? But my first meltdown was Garfield bribes the guy Otto with the gem, right? This is not even like a plot hole. This is just a storytelling problem in the first place. But he bribes him with the gem, and then Otto later saves Subaru and frees Subaru. And then Otto says, "Oh yeah, Garfield bribed me with a gem, but I decided not to take it." And then that's when I lost my shit, because I was just like, I saw Garfield give the gemstone to Otto. And Otto is here right now, which means I'm not an idiot. I know that Otto refused the gemstone. Like, this isn't a plot hole. This is just storytelling. Where it's just like, you don't need to show me that Otto, you don't need to tell me that Otto refused the gemstone through dialogue in your script, right? And you don't need to Subaru doesn't even need to know that himself. So why mention that? Why put that in the script?
Because
you have to spell it out for people because they're idiots.
Yeah, there's one reason, but here's the other reason.
I don't think no one in the audience is that stupid. I don't think anyone in the audience is that stupid not put 2 and 2 together.
Listen, I want to ask you a question. If you're an Otto and Garfield was bribing you in this way, would you take the gem?
I would take the gem because I know that Otto is tougher than me, but I would probably find a way to try to save Subaru for sure.
I would take the gem because I don't have a fucking choice. You think if I refuse it, you think he's gonna kill me? You think he's gonna be paranoid? You think it's just gonna be okay if you just don't take the gem?
He's a violent asshole for sure. And you know what's fascinating about Garfield? He's a violent asshole, but I bet later on this season he will be redeemed. I bet you, Antonio.
Because didn't you write a paper on this or something? I think you did.
Maybe I did. Was it about character or something?
I think it was the philosophy of Dr. Stone. how the East and West.
Oh yeah, like everyone has to be redeemed in an Eastern. Oh, okay. Well, that's
Yeah, you did
that's
write
a
something about
conversation
that.
for a different day. We'll probably come back to it to some other
Yeah,
time. But
yeah, yeah.
now is the huge dilemma, right? You want to talk about Antonio? You want to bring it up?
So, so, so here's the thing. We find out that it's been like what,
Yeah,
several days
3
since he's been
days I
gone.
think you said.
Yeah, and so you ask, why didn't anyone look for Subaru?
Well,
Looks like they
they
kind of
did, yeah,
did, but they didn't
yeah.
find him.
Well, they weren't very smart about it apparently.
The thing is, Subaru is a person of extremely great interest to the people there, whether they're favored or not. Him going missing should put everyone like on
Yeah,
their guard.
but
Should make
But
everyone
what- but
paranoid.
what was most baffling though is that like you could do a very simple detective work, which is all right. Amelia, where was the last place that you saw Subaru? I saw
Fucking
Subaru leaving
place.
the house, and I think he was talking to Otto, out there.
No, he's talking to
No,
her.
no, but when he left the house, like Otto was outside with Subaru, right? And so Amelia's just like, okay, well, he was with Otto last time I saw him, and then so Ram, as you said, would
It's
be very
Otto.
concerned about this, right? So Ram goes to Otto and says, whoa, Otto, where was the last time you saw Subaru? And then Subaru says, oh, like last time I was there, maybe like Garfield was with me, right? Garfield took Subaru away into the forest or whatever. Maybe Garfield threatened him, I don't know. But like,
And Garfield's subset
and
number one.
but then it's just like, okay, well, you can form this sort of like you can form this general idea of where everyone's alibi is, right? And then just kind of figure out he was probably with Garfield last night. I mean, like where else? Like who else would take him, right? Like there wasn't, as far as we know, there were no outsiders that came from the village, right? That came into the village. Uh, we asked Garfield, his alibi doesn't really pan out, right? Garfield and the little lolly girl, right? Their alibis don't really pan out, right? So it's just like, okay, well, there's something suspicious going on here. And so that was really weird, where it's just like, I don't know.
So here's another reason why it's so
Yeah.
stupid. What makes you think that no one was paying attention when they kidnapped Subaru? So if you want to kidnap him and you want to do it smart,
He would have left tracks on the ground, wouldn't he? I mean, I'm not saying that anyone's an expert tracker, but
no, Roswell is.
Roswell is an expert. Okay, well that completely changes everything because he left footprints. They both left footprints.
No, I mean, well, look, Roswell on that episode, like a couple episodes ago, Roswell knew everything about Subaru. So surely he knows everything about everyone else.
And you would have kind of figured out that like of the people that's the most suspicious, clearly who's closest to Subaru, right? Otto is, but he's kind of an idiot, so it's fine.
So who would kidnap Subaru? The witch's cult.
Yeah.
Right? Well, can they get in? No.
Yeah.
So only anyone here. So would the villagers kidnap Subaru? No. Why? Because he saved them. He's a hero to them. So who else would do it? Well, the prime suspects are the people closest to him. It's not hard.
Garfield's clearly like he's unstable. So, and he's the one who has like the worst working relationship with Subaru. Then there's also that.
It would have taken about a day.
Mysterious like pink hair girl, Anzu or whatever her name was.
No, I don't know.
But it's just like she just came out of fucking nowhere, and so it's just like, okay, well she came here, and where is she now? Or like like she literally came into the town like just today, and then now Subaru's gone.
Well, here's the other problem though. Garfield is a fucking idiot because now they found Subaru, and now he's fucked.
Yes.
Quite literally. But also Subaru is fucked because Subaru can't fight Garfield because he sucks. So what do we go from
Where
here?
do we go? Well, we ignore everything that happened this episode, and then we just go to the trial from here.
Here's the point. Like, why? It's like when he responds, you have to, like, why would you want to, like, what you for the events that happen during a life that is reverted, they still have to mean something. And if you're resetting all this time, and like you got to be, because it feels like you're wasting the audience's time when you do something.
Oh, this is an
like
artistic sense, right? Not from a logical sense. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So
It's. I mean, it's for
but,
drama. It's what everybody wants.
But the thing is, the logical problems in this episode are so numerous.
We've made fun of every episode of Re:Zero, like privately, but this is the one episode where we were just like, this is really fucking weird. This episode in particular. There was episode 4, which I remember getting really angry at and kind of screaming at it, but yeah, so now Otto and Subaru are walking back. And then Garfield now finds out. That animation looks terrible. Them coming out of the bushes does not look natural whatsoever. You can clearly see that it's like... I bet you would. I mean, I'd have to look at frame by frame, but it looks like the bushes are being overlaid over their character models, right? Like, the leaves don't move. Oh, he's going to turn into a monster. The leaves don't move, and like the bushes don't even part. It's just literally overlaying the... images over each other.
So here's another problem that I have, though. Here's a problem that I have so far with artistically speaking. So Garfield wasn't really an enemy until like just now.
Yeah.
Because of the scent on Subaru. So what's the whole point of this? Like, Subaru's going to respawn. Now he has more problems to deal with that aren't the problems that we care about. It seems like a pointless.
Like, Garfield has nothing to do with the witches. So he's just some guy who...
I mean, like, why does the author do this?
Make drama. To create drama.
Like, well, why can't we just get on with the story? Why can't the show writers just cut this part out completely?
The story is the drama. And we were discussing this too, right? Where we said every episode is 26 minutes long. When most episodes are 21 minutes long. Shield Hero is even 21 minutes long, right? And so it's just like, well, it kind of clearly shows that they're not cutting anything down from the original light novel. That at least is proof to me, right? I mean, I don't say it's proof, but it's a good evidence for that conclusion. Anyway, so that was our episode 7 plot holes. Any parting thoughts, Antonio? Keep it short.
Fuck Batman.
Fuck Batman. All right, peace out, guys.